Hi, my name is Barbara Hawkins Dixon,
And my name is Darlene Mayman.
and we are the authors of Substance of Building a Healthy Relationship.
Good morning, everyone. We back on here with you today, and our topic today is why does a woman change from soft to aggressive? Well, I consider that as women's change because they wind up finding themselves have to take on a whole nother position. When in the beginning it wasn't like that, which means when they got together with their spouse or they mate, everything was on point and the guy was showing her that he would take the responsibility of doing everything that he's supposed to do, and she trusted in him. And then once they got together into the relationship, then everything started to change. The man begins to not taking his responsibility of doing what he's supposed to do, and that disappoints the woman. So now she sees that she have to put everything in place, and now she's taking over the responsibility that he should be taking over. So that is one of the reasons why the woman changes from where they was in the beginning, Barbara.
Well, that is true. Sometimes, in the relationship, I think men forget that the same thing they was doing from the beginning to get you, they have to continue to do these things.
Mhm.
So when they lack on their responsibilities, that caused the mate to have to pick up, and a whole lot of more, things get dropped on her. So now she have to play both parts.
Mhm.
And that is what caused conflict and caused the woman to become aggressive because now she's feeling both shoes. She's feeling the shoes of being the woman, and then now she's feeling the responsibilities that the husband or the mate does.
Mhm.
And so it's very important, men's uh, even though this discussion is about men's lacking, their responsibilities, we want to make it clear that we's not just targeting men's because it's women's that don't hold down their part of the deal as well. And so it's very important that both mates come together and know their role in the relationship and do what they are supposed to do to make each one of their positions easier. And it would be less arguments, more happiness in the relationship. You know, I love to see couples work together. Uh, as far as we talk a lot about uh, unhealthy relationships because that's what our book is based on. But we love to see healthy relationships
Mhm.
where partners are working as a team, getting things done. You could achieve a whole lot more if you work together. But if one is going one way and the other is going the other way, it's going to always be frustration, conflict, and it's like I say, much easier if each partner plays their role.
Right, that is true. I agree with you, Barbara, on that part because it's so important that a couple be equally yoked. Because, like you was just saying, one can be going one way and the other person is going another way, and you not connecting with each other. That causes a big problem because the person that's trying to do everything is feeling like, okay, they on their own. No, their partner's not with them to help them out. Because I'm gonna put it as in a marriage, it is so important that the man and the wife work together. Now, because I was from old school, I was always raised, but this is a whole new generation. But I've noticed even from carrying yourself from the old school, if you notice, if you look back at our old generations and our older parents and grandparents, you see how they're still together after so many years and everything, because each person knew their part, and important that the man the man back then was the provider and the woman was the helpmeet. And today, if you're looking at society, they want it to be like 50-50. And I guess in some marriages that's okay, but if you want to go by biblical, you the book says that the man is the provider, which means he is responsible for handling all the business in his household and the bills and everything, and the wife is supposed to make sure that the house is taken care of and the kids is taken care of and everything is good when he come home. But today is totally different, and I feel that women, we tend to change because when we got with this person, they gave you all the promises that they was going to do this and do that and make sure that you was okay. And we look for that protection. We look for that security, because when we don't get that and we wind up seeing that we have to take over everything, it changes everything. And that what causes us to have, anger in us and everything, because now we mad because we taking on responsibility that as the man, and that is what he is supposed to do. So that's what causes the problems, Barbara.
Well, like you say, back then, with our ancestors, when the husband took on the full responsibility
Mm-hmm.
uh, of taking care of the family as far as providing for the family.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, even back then, it was like the husband provided for the family
Mm-hmm.
financially, but the wife made sure that the bills and things was paid.
Right.
But even if you look back, a lot of times we look back at these relationships and we
Mm-hmm.
think that it was peaches and cream because uh, a couple stayed together 50, 60 years, whatever. That doesn't mean that it wasn't conflict in there, because a lot of times back then, the husband took care of the bills, but at the same time, he thought because he took care of the bills, he was free to do what he wanted to do. And so that, even then, that call created a lot of cheating in
Mm-hmm.
relationships back then, and outside children's, and different things like that, because they felt that their main priority was just taking care of the bills.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't work today. You could take care of the spouse could take care of the bills, but you also have to be accountable for other things that you're supposed to do as a husband,
Mm-hmm.
or a wife.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just think that because you're taking care of the bills, you're doing everything that needs to be done. It's a lot more need to be done in a marriage or a relationship than just paying bills. So
Yes.
you have to maintain a certain amount of happiness in a relationship, trust, communication, and different things like that. That's just as important.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I agree with you on that, Barbara, because I understand that, the man feels that, because they're providing, that that's all that is important. They look at it as, okay, I'm doing my part. I'm taking care of the bills. But like you said, it's more than that, because if you're not paying attention to your significant other, it's not a communication there. There's no, activities with each other. There's no, doing anything together like you used to, just being ignored, and you living in a household where, like, okay, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. That brings anger too, because now the woman is feeling like, okay, I'm you're not paying me any attention, it's just not nothing being said. And then that brings a lot of anger to the woman, because now she's feeling like, okay, what am I, what is this? Am I just here to be Hazel or maid, or, I'm just here for convenience or what? And that's what women begin to feel because they're not getting attention. And that's what men don't understand, that you have to continue to do those things with your significant other daily. You just can't, feel because you going to work every day and you say you the man of the household. It's more than that. You have to give your significant other the time, and communicate with them, and spend quality time. If you're not doing that, then that's what caused the woman. She begins to be quiet. She don't complain about anything. And that's not a good thing, because once she start not complaining about anything, because first of all, she's complaining and you not listening. Now you saying she's being uh grumpy, or she just trying to start an argument, or she just don't understand what's going on. But what you're not realizing is that when you start doing that to her, a woman is feeling like, okay, I'm not being taken seriously. I'm not being, taking the time with. And so she starts feeling another way. And once she gets that quietness, that becomes a problem, because all while she's being quiet and you thinking it's okay what you doing, you're not realizing to her she's ready to just cut everything off and move on. Because the difference with a woman and a man, once a woman be's quiet and don't say anything anymore, that's the issue. Because in her mind, she's saying enough is enough, Barbara.
Yes, absolutely. Because it takes a while for a woman to get to that point. Because when she get to that point, she feel like she have done all that she could to save the relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
still, she's not getting what she needs. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I'm, I'm one that speaks my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything for you. I'm gonna say what I mean and mean what I say. I mean, so I'm not leaving room for you to try to figure out where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna know what
Yeah.
I need, or and if you refuse to uh, give me what I need, and I'm not talking about just financially,
Mm-hmm.
just time, a good communication, just simple things, that sometimes money can't buy.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not everything in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that are free
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes is the hardest to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's it could be very complicated, and I must say no woman want to play both parts in
Right.
the marriage or the relationship.
Yes. It
They
should.
would much rather play their part and their spouse does their job, and then
Mm-hmm.
therefore it's less stress on both partners.
Mm-hmm. I also say too, a woman to change too, because just say both parties are working. The husband is working, the wife is working. But when it's time to come home, the husband, I guess he feels that he's the man, that his responsibilities are not to, do anything that it has to be done at the household. The man, it shouldn't be that the woman have to work too, but then still come home and now she's responsible for taking on the household and doing all the chores and everything while the man sit back. I feel that the man and the woman should pitch in together and take on the responsibilities that have to be done in the household, which I mean like the cleaning, you know what I'm saying, the things that need to be
Right,
done at home, instead of feeling that because he's a man, he don't have to do these things. And I have heard men say, well, I work every day. That's a wife job to take care of the household and clean up the house. But no, that's not true. If both parties are working, both parties should be responsible for taking on chores at home too and work together. I don't think that the woman should have to work 8 hours and then come home and have to do everything there too without getting the assistance or help, Barbara.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is a healthy relationship.
Yes.
That's how you clarify the difference between a toxic relationship and a healthy relationship, because you both working together in a healthy relationship, and so you know that you both have, like I say, roles to play. You're not gonna put more pressure on your spouse than your spouse ain't gonna want to put more on you. So you're gonna work together. You both work. Okay, well, I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna cook dinner, or and your mate. Well, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna make sure the kids is good with their homework.
Mm-hmm.
Different things like that. Or do the little cleaning while the other partner is cooking. That's how, when you work together, that's a healthy relationship.
Yes, it
And
is.
no one person's job is more important than the others. Even with stay at home parents, whether it's the uh, husband or the wife staying at home,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say, okay, you've been out 10 hours working and your mate been home cooking and cleaning, taking care of kids, the homework. You can't say that your job was more harder than theirs, because look what they have to go through with at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now it's different if I'm working all day and you sitting there doing nothing,
That's
then
true.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you at home parent, and you taking care of responsibilities at home, is keeping the house clean and feeding the children and helping with homework, and it's a lot of pressure dealing with children today.
Yes, it is. That's an 8 hour job by itself.
Yes,
Yeah, that's an 8 hour job
you
taking care
never
of
get
home.
yes, you never get done, because each child you have a different personality.
True.
And so they requires different attention. And when you know your children's, you know what they requires.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you can't treat all of them. You treat them the same. You love them the same because they're your children's, but they require different, different things. This
Yes.
one might be more quiet, that you,
Mm-hmm.
and one is more talkative. So you have to deal with them on different levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of work having, even being at home parent, to deal
Yes,
with
it
your
is.
children.
Yes, it is. Because, like you said, that's an 8 hour job by itself. Now, can you imagine you working 8 hours on the job and now you come home, that's another 8 hours. So, of course, you're tired and you're angry because you taking on extra stuff, So, I think it's good when, like you said, both parties work together as a team. You do this, you do this, and I do that, and that'll even it all for both persons, and nobody is angry and have attitude because the one person is feeling like they have to do everything when the other person is not doing nothing. So, you guys,
and
this
that
was a
cause and
yeah,
that
that
cause
causes
each partner to have more relaxation time,
yeah,
and
yeah,
whereas they could have time together,
yeah,
once the
for each other,
children, yeah, for each other, when the house is clean, kids fed, homework
yeah,
done, and you get a chance to relax a little together before you all turn in for the night.
yeah, yeah. So this topic today, was just given some examples of why, because we hear so many people say, I have heard men say women are so angry and so disrespectful, and what is the cost of it? Well, a lot of times it be because the woman don't feel like she's being respected or given the time that she needs, and that brings anger in a woman when they feel like that. So that's what this topic was about, you guys. This was a short one today because we on a time limit, but we probably do continue on to this because I think we have other things to talk about with this topic too, Barbara. So we're going
And
to
then
end it.
we're gonna also talk more about healthy relationships.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, because it's a wonderful thing to be in a healthy relationship where both partners respect each other
yes,
time, their goals, and
yes, yes.
how much farther you could go when you're working together.
That's true. That is true. All right, Barbara, we're gonna end it with this one. You guys, we'll see you again. We're trying to stay on point. We're doing it once a week, but sometimes our schedule causes us to not be on here once a week like we want to. Barbara has a busy schedule, and so do I. But we're gonna do our best, you guys. We're not gonna end this. We're gonna continue to do what we do and get these topics out to you, Barbara.
Yes, so very true. And just like they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. Don't leave your partner wondering what
Hmm.
you want or what you need.
Yeah,
Uh, like I say, I'm one to speak out and let it be known. And
yeah,
just like my church say, I speak my mind because it hurts to bite my tongue. That's so very true. And so
hmm,
that's why you have to be direct.
hmm, hmm, hmm. And when you being direct, with your significant other, don't take it as it's being an argument. You need to sometimes listen to what your significant other is telling you because they're telling you, the things that they like and don't like. And it's very important to pay attention to that, what they're saying, and not ignore what they're trying to tell you because they're putting it out there for you to let them know how they're feeling. So it's important to pay attention to what they're trying to show you, Bob.
Because people use that as an excuse all the time that they didn't know you felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
another reason you have to be direct with it.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't use that as an excuse why I didn't know because you being
We,
outspoken and you telling them what
mm-hmm.
you want or what you need. And then if they're not fulfilling that, it's because they don't want to, not because they had no knowledge of what you want
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
need. So with that, we're gonna end this topic. You all have a wonderful day and see you next
And we're
time.
gonna say happy birthday to Barbara, you guys. She had a birthday this weekend. So you guys shout that happy birthday out to her.
Yes, and I truly enjoyed it, and I thank my family for uh, a very good time. I really
Good.
enjoyed all the love and all the gifts. Thank you, family.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.